You are about to see presentations by the UCSC Common Ground Center's collaborative learning students at the Kresge Town Hall on Thursday, December 11th, 2014. The students in these community action teams are presenting on projects that they carried out over the 2014 fall quarter. For more information, visit kresge.ucsc.edu/common ground.
Hi everyone, for our CAT, we were interning at the Riekes Center for Nature Awareness, and it's a nature connection program for kids who are homeschooled, and they come to this program one day a week, and we do a lot of the nature connection activities that we did in class, plus a lot of other ones. And Jenny and Diane are awesome, and they're going to tell you more about it. Okay, hello, I'm Jenny. We basically went to the Arboretum one day a week and hung out with kids ranging in age from 2 to 18 years old. They're divided into like smaller groups, so more like focused age groups. And basically just going over like things we did in class, like core routines of nature connection, and also cultural mentoring techniques. So, the goal is basically just to connect kids to the land and themselves and each other. One of the things we did, which we talked a little about in class here, was using sit spots as a way to connect to nature. So just having the kids go out like once a day and sit, even if it's for like 5 or 10 minutes by themselves, and some of them journaled, some of them didn't, and then just meeting back up and kind of having them tell their stories and talk about what they saw, what they noticed, and having them kind of like identify what it is they were noticing. Another thing we did was sensory awareness activities. So this is something we also practice here in class, so super applicable, but just doing little games like blindfolding and like box walking, which I think we did here, in our class, and stuff like that, so to get their, kind of get them more in tune with their senses and with the environment around them, and also paying attention to brain language is a huge thing, and just like noticing different calls and alarms and things like that. Another thing is survival skills. So they actually would harvest, bay trees and carve them into bows, which is pretty cool. Like something I definitely had no experience with prior to working there. It was like all these kids were like, "Oh yeah, we can do this," and I'm like, "Oh, I can't do that." But I definitely learned a lot about survival skills, and making fires with bow drills also is a big thing there, and you can actually, the kids can get certified, like fire keeping, that's another one, tree climbing, and like knife certified, and nature ninja, So, pretty cool, they have like different levels of certifications for the kids. Another thing is there's a lot of like natural crafting. So one of the things we did was like making cordage out of metal, and also like we made last time I was there, we made these super cool like little leather pouches. That was super fun, and I think Diane made some like stamps with leaves and stuff, some doing mushroom prints and stuff like that.
So one of the things we also did was exploring the natural world. So we would just go out on little nature walks, and then if they would see a trap, we would just like point it out, and we would be like, "Oh, what animal do you think this is?" And then they all had their guidebooks, so they would actually look up the trap. And all these kids keep a journal, so they were able to keep track of their learning progress. They also really used to like catching newts, so right now that it's raining and wet, they would go out and like they would already know which spots would be the prime locations, so like near ponds, and even amongst like the younger children, which are like 2 to 4-year-olds, they would tell each other like, "Hey, you need to like get your hand wet before you touch the newt," and then they would follow these directions. Super cute. Every single meeting always started with gratitude, and it was really nice because they're usually divided amongst groups, but during this time they would all gather around together, and even like the 2-year-olds that didn't know what to say for gratitude would make like little noises like ooh, like I did things for monkeys, and it was just really nice to see how this is embedded at such a young age. Ancestor feast is something that we did here, and we also did at the Riekes Center. So a lot of these kids come from different places, different heritage, and they came together, brought their meals, and before we ate, we gave gratitude, of course, and then we talked about, like we each gave a story of our ancestors and how this is meaningful to our life, and it was just a great bonding experience for all of the students. So fun and games, like that, I feel like something that was great for them. Well, we just like played games, like, for example, they'd be a mountain lion, then another one would be the deer, and then it would be like their way of playing tag, but each of them had life stones, so it just like made it a little more interactive.
So yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about like my experience being a mentor at this center, and just encourage you guys if you're interested in nature connection and working with children. It's just a super awesome opportunity, and you can do like an internship with them through like the environmental studies department, or you can probably just talk to them and volunteer if you're interested, and don't really care about getting credit, but yeah, it's just an awesome experience, and I just feel like I personally like got to like reconnect with this like childlike sense of wonder and just like excitement. And, like every time I would go to that, I would just like come out of it and just be like, oh my gosh, like so excited. And I feel like I've like totally like this quarter like have like tapped into that like little like playfulness, and it's just been awesome. I feel like I've also learned so much about nature and connecting with nature and using like different plants as like medicinal, or just like, you know, making actual stuff out of plants rather than buying stuff. And I don't know, just like I really want to maintain my relationship with this program, and I feel like I'm growing a lot and like learning a lot from the kids, and teaching them is awesome, and being able to like point out stuff like, oh, did you hear that? Like, what do you think it is? And then just like see how like interested they are is like really inspiring. And I don't know, kids are like so awesome and so inspiring, and just so like easy to see like improvements, and just like how they're being affected by the natural world. It's just like an amazing experience. So yeah, I would definitely, like, if you're interested, recommend working with them or other organizations like this. There's tons of outdoor schools all over, so yeah, if you want to get involved, you can talk to any of us or the Environmental Studies Department Internship Office, or email them directly.
Yeah, I just want to say my experience was great, and I didn't think I was going to get so much out of it, but it was really different once I was there. One of the core things that they say is that you end up learning more than the actual people you're mentoring, and I definitely felt that way. Like, I don't know, I would get really excited just to like know that I was going to go, and like I was like, oh, what am I going to learn today? Every time it was at least.
Hello, my name is Kristen, and I facilitated the Worldview Transformation CAT with these lovely people. And one of my favorite parts of the CAT was every meeting at the end of our meditation, when we'd all open our eyes and I would look at them all with this like dazed, dreamy, happy, peaceful look on their face, and it was just really nice to be a witness to the effects of meditation. Hi, I'm Maddie. My favorite part of the CAT was implementing this really valuable skill into my day-to-day. It definitely made a positive change, and it's been something I've been wanting to do on my own for a while. So this CAT made it really possible and really fun.
Hi. Hello. Hi, I'm Forrest, and one thing I liked about the CAT was that there was a lot of news being shared amongst us, like a lot of news. You weren't here on like Fox or CNN or something. It was just like individual stuff that we like are passionate about and that we research on our own. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline. I'm glad I took this because I learned how to do yoga, and that was really good and beneficial to my body and my mind.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah. One thing I really liked about this CAT is getting to like get closer to all these people. Like we got to like share our different like experiences and like talk about like meditation and have like tea every Wednesday and just hang out, and it was a really nice experience.
Hi, I'm Arash, and my favorite part about the CAT was, well, we got tea. That was really nice. And it's just really relaxing and just a nice thing to do. It's really like helpful at alleviating the body, that sort of thing. And then start with the presentation. I just wanted to begin with a little history of meditation. Meditation began historically and was often tied closely with spiritual and religious practices. Not seen as much today. And then some of the earliest written records of meditation come from the Hindu traditions of Vedanta around 1500 BC. But then later on, by the 5th century BC, others developed their own interpretation of meditation, such as Taoist China and Buddhist India. Towards the Middle Ages, Japanese Buddhism grew drastically and resulted in more curiosity towards meditation, which led to the teachings of Zen. And then Japan adopted those teachings from China. And then now in modern history, we now see an evolution of how meditation is perceived. And rather than focusing on the spiritual aspect of meditation, more people are seeing it as a way to like reduce stress, relaxation, and to self-improve oneself.
I'm going to talk about the different types of meditation, but meditation is just like so ancient and so broad, like that if we're going to talk about all the different types and methods, that we'd be here all day because there's like thousands. So I'm going to talk about like the four ones that we use. The first one is concentrative. In this one, you focus your attention on one single object, whether that's like a sound or an image or a place. You keep bringing your mind back to that specific object. It's a pretty basic form of meditation that beginners usually start with. It's very foundational for all the other different types of meditation. The second one we used was open awareness. In this practice, your mind is like an open sky where your thoughts like may come into your mind, but you let them like drift away. The next type is mindfulness meditation. It's a combination of the first two. It's very popular because it concentrates on focusing on an object, like you can feel like let your thoughts flow by. And the most common one that we used was guided meditation. In this one, you focus on the auditory. You listen to like a YouTube video or your like classmates' voice, and they guide you through different like journey of like images or places or experiences. But there's a lot of different other types of meditation, like I said.
Hi, I'm going to talk about some physiological aspects that meditation benefits, that is beneficial to you. Most of it goes on in the brain, It increases your lifespan if you continuously do it. The long term can increase gray matter density. It can also boost your immune system, so goodbye cold. Rejuvenates by stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system, and that's pretty much what, that's a system that helps calm you down, your emotional state. Improvement on your working memory and lowers depression risk, and it also supports weight loss. It also decreases your sensitivity to breathing.
Okay, so I'm here to talk about the metaphysical effects of meditation, but I don't really want to call these effects because it's something we always have had these things. Like they're internal and like we have them from birth. Meditation yourself kind of like bring it out. So there's like the common ones like relaxation, state of well-being, concentration, all that good stuff. Basically just like, just not stress. You're just completely yourself and you don't really have to worry about anything. Another thing is enhanced internal energy. There's so many names for this internal energy. In Japanese it's ki, in Hindu it's chi, or in Chinese, prana is Hindu, I think. There's development of compassion, love, empathy, forgiveness, those types of emotions. Increased awareness, as in your sensory awareness, your other forms of awareness, like intuition, those types of things. And a heightened holistic vision, as in the sense that you can view things more objectively and instead of heightened holistic vision, I should probably say a reduction of your ego in your thinking, just a more objective way to think.
One thing I found really interesting was the effect of group meditation as opposed to individual, and I always found my practice was very improved when I was in class in a group setting, or also at the Santa Cruz or this Salt Temple and places like that. So I decided to study the large-scale effects of group meditation, and a lot of interesting things came up. Techniques like transcendental meditation have been seen as really effective and have been implemented in workplaces, universities, lower schools like middle school, high schools, and also prisons. And it shows a really well-rounded and influential effect. Workplaces show decreased anxiety, depression, insomnia, neurotic tendencies, and overall improvement in performance and job appreciation. Schools, which we'll elaborate more on later, have seen increased attendance, decreased rates of suspension by nearly a half, which is really great. Attendance rates climbing, increased grade point average, and also a general sense of appreciation, better student relations and other things like that. Then, of course, this phenomenon called the Maharishi Effect, which a group of transcendental meditation practitioners organize and engage in regular group meditation, and this is shown in some cases to have a profound effect on the surrounding environment. In Israel, a group of TM meditators organized over the course of several weeks around 100 to 250 people, and as a result they showed decreased rates of war deaths and war casualties and injuries, improved market, improved cooperation between the opposing sides. Another interesting study was in Washington, D.C. during the months when crime rates go up because it's summer and it's hotter and temperature kind of inflames that. They actually showed an 11% decrease in rape, assault, homicide kind of crimes, and a 16% approximated decrease in crime overall. I thought this is really interesting and how it can influence the community we live in.
So how many of you have ever felt stress related to school? As we're in finals week. Yeah. We get into school at 5 or 6 years old. Homework is being assigned in first grade now. And it just gets increasingly heavier the older that we get. And there are all kinds of negative effects, increased suicide rate, and stress, and needing to be on prescription medication for depression and anxiety. And so David Lynch is a filmmaker who got into transcendental meditation, and it changed his life so much that he was inspired to start this foundation where he was bringing in transcendental meditation practices into schools. And everybody's doing it, so give it a try. If you feel called to join in, we're going to have this CAT again next quarter. And even if you aren't in the class, you're more than welcome to join in on the meditation. Everybody's welcome, and the more people that join in, the more we're cultivating this energy and sending it out through the community. So right now we want to lead you in a little guided meditation. So get comfy.
Is everybody ready? So, sitting in an erect posture, either on a straight back chair or a cushion, as you allow your body to become still. Bring your attention to the fact that you're breathing, and become aware of the movement of your breath as it comes into your body and as it leaves your body. Not manipulating the breath in any way or trying to change it. Simply being aware of it and of the feelings associated with the breathing. And observing the breath deep down in your belly, feeling the abdomen as it expands gently on your in-breath and as it falls back towards your spine on the out-breath.
Be totally here in each moment with each breath. Not trying to do anything, not trying to get any place, simply being with your breath. Giving full care and attention to each in-breath and each out-breath. They follow one after another in a never-ending cycle. You will find that from time to time, your mind will wander off into thoughts. When you notice that your attention is no longer here and no longer with your breath, bring your attention back into your breathing. Ride the waves with your breathing, full conscious of the duration of each breath from moment to moment.
Every time you find your breath wandering off, gently bring it back to the present. Back to the moment to moment, observing the flow of your breathing. Using your breath as an anchor to focus your attention. To bring you back to the present whenever you notice your mind is becoming absorbed or reactive. Using your breath to help you tune into a state of relaxed awareness and stillness. Now letting your breath move through your entire body in whatever way feels natural for you.
All of your muscles in a deep state of relaxation. Your mind simply aware of this energy, of your flow of breath. Experiencing your entire body breathing, being here with whatever feelings and sensations come up without judgment, without reaction. Just being fully here and fully aware. Completely present with whatever your feelings are, and with your breath and a sense of your body as a whole. And again, whenever you notice that your mind is wandering off, just bring it back to your breathing and your body, sinking deeper and deeper into a state of stillness and deep relaxation.
Allow yourself to feel whole, in touch with your essential self in a realm of silence, of stillness, of peace. And seeing that this stillness is in itself healing, and allowing the world to be as it is, beyond your personal fears and concerns, beyond the tendencies of your mind to want everything to be a certain way. Seeing yourself as complete right now as you are, as totally aware right now. Just being with your breathing from moment to moment, just sitting in stillness, looking for nothing and being present to all, just as it is, as it unfolds. Just being right here, right now, complete, human, whole.
As the practice comes to an end, you might give yourself credit for having spent this time nourishing yourself in a deep way by dwelling in the state of non-doing, in the state of being, for having intentionally made time for yourself to simply be who you are. And as you move back into the world, allow the benefits of this practice to expand into every aspect of your life. Bring your attention to your toes. Point and flex your feet to wake them up. Roll your wrists. Now your shoulders. You may now open your eyes. And take a final deep inhale and exhale. Welcome back. Thank you.
Wow, okay, 8 presentations, 8 amazing groups. I just wanted to say 2 things that kind of came up for me throughout the last class and today. And the first is the story of the peacemaker's journey. To harken back to the story that Caitlin Williams was sharing, I feel like the end got kind of scrunched a little bit, and I wanted to just re-presence the last part of that story. So there's this whole epic war that's gone on for all these years, and this peacemaker goes around and unites all these tribes in peace, and they dig a big hole, and they bury their weapons. They throw their weapons in this hole and plant a white pine tree, right? And there's this tree of peace planted that they gather around and give gratitude and create this whole beautiful, elaborate system of governance that our United States government was kind of founded upon, although they totally butchered many parts of it. They chose majority instead of consensus, and older white men as the electoral college instead of the clan grandmothers, and all these things were kind of changed. So the system failed, really, has been failing us quite clearly. And the story continues that there would come a time when people would come across the ocean and hack at the roots of this tree of peace, and that the tree would fall, and that the chiefs would come and lock their arms to hold the tree from falling all the way down, because if it did, we'd go into 10,000 years of darkness. So instead of hitting the ground, the chiefs, locked arms and grabbed the tree before it hit all the way to the ground, and that it would be the children of those people who came across the ocean that would swoop under the chief's arms when they were growing tired and help, not them by themselves, but they would help the chiefs then right the tree back up. And so the story goes that a ceremony was done in the 70s saying, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We are here. We are those people. We are those children to stand the tree back up. And that it would be part of a 200-year plan. Right? So if you do the math, that was in the 70s, and here we are 40 years later, but we still have 160 years to go. So whether this is true or not, I'm not trying to indoctrinate you and say this is how, and here's my proof for why this is actually what's happening today. It's kind of like proving meditation. That's not where I'm coming from, but it's an inspiring story for me, and I think about these community action teams in that context of these 200-year-long community action teams. So I'm so heartwarmed to hear you say that these are going to continue, right? That there's ways to plug in next quarter, and that we're amassing more community partners and organizations to work with to really build these over the long term. Because that's really the intention, is that these will continue and go on and on and on for 200 years. So I want to say hats off to those of you who got started and got these projects going, because I know it took a lot of work to kind of get the ball rolling and figure it out, and we're really all still figuring it out. And so with that, I'd like to recite a poem, and then invite you to get into your clans to have your clan presentations and clan closing. Because I know we're kind of slowly, just like we slowly ratcheted the class up, we're kind of slowly closing it down. So here's a poem, To Be of Use, by Marge Piercy. And it's about those of you who signed up for the 5-minute learning journey and all the good work that you did, that we got to witness in these past 2 days. So just like the meditation, if you want to close your eyes and feel grounded and just kind of go inside during this, you're welcome to, otherwise I'm right here. I love people who harness themselves, who jump into the work head first without dallying in the shallows, who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again, who are not parlor generals or field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust, but the thing worth doing well done has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn, are put in museums, but you know that they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real. Thank you all for doing that work that is real this quarter.